Hi, I'm Joe Navarro, and welcome to People Watching. Today, I'm going to talk about 20 behaviors that experts from around the world find very attractive. The first one is being friendly. It seems like this is a no-brainer, but being friendly and act friendly and demonstrating friendliness towards others around the world seems to garner not just attention, but it garners reciprocity and it garners the opportunity to engage with others. So, something as simple as just being friendly, in other words, don't go off by yourself, engage others by smiling, greeting, and just being approachable goes a long way. The second one is just being relaxed, being open. Don't tense up. I often talk about that it's okay to wrap your arms around yourself when you're nervous or scared, and that it's a comforting behavior. But also remember that some people perceive that as being closed off. So open, relaxed gestures that are outward, which show kindness, are your best option. The third one that I think there's great agreement on, and that is make really good eye contact. In other words, don't avoid anyone in particular. If your eyes loiter on this person or that person, make sure that you include all the others. So making good eye contact that gazes and engages, but is not aggressive or isn't meant to intimidate others, very positive. A genuine smile, right? So people ask me, well, what do you mean by genuine? I mean, really feel it. Feel that you're very comfortable around this person and let your body reflect that genuine sentiment. Some people say, well, I find it hard to smile at others and so forth. A lot of people find it hard to smile. But just remember, smiling is a powerful signal that communicates. And so a genuine smile that shows that you are comfortable with the other person, you're welcoming, is a powerful gesture. Genuine sentiments play a big role in attractiveness, in being perceived as trustworthy. Most of us are not world-class actors, so we can't, pretend what we don't feel. And over the years, what I have found is that when you genuinely want to befriend someone, when you genuinely are welcoming, that your body language will reflect that. So keep that in mind, that when we try to fake that we're comfortable around someone, most of the time we fail because we are not world-class actors. Around the world, we find, and I think this is because of our genetic imprinting, that mirroring each other is a powerful way to signal that we get along, and it is very attractive. We know from the research that instinctively, from an early age, babies will begin to mirror their mother or father or caretaker, to the point that we often see the same gestures performed. As I always say, mirroring is synchrony and synchrony is harmony. So when you're talking to someone, be aware of their emotions. Because if they're agitated or upset, we've got to, number one, deal with that. But as you know, it never works well when someone is really sad and then someone is really happy and they're trying to talk to each other. So we mirror each other both verbally and non-verbally. So the terms that you might use, referring to family rather than wife and kids, the gestures of sitting back and relaxing, or gesturing in one direction and simultaneously looking in that direction. Mirroring behaviors are synchronous behaviors, and that contributes to harmony. One thing that has become a real issue, and I say this to you, and if you're a parent, be aware of this, is that being attentive is a way of signaling that we care, paying attention to the person in front of us, not being distracted. And I know there's a lot of things that can distract us now. Our smartwatches, our smartphones, all these things that are supposedly smart are undoing those things that are even more meaningful, which is to be attentive to whether you're a parent and paying attention to a child that is showing you something, or you're in a meeting and someone has been preparing for hours to deliver a message and you're sitting there looking at your iPhone. That is not being attentive. So being attentive is a huge plus. And I have to say, in working with a lot of companies, they're frowning on using your phone and being on top of the information as an excuse. It is impolite, especially when someone is delivering a presentation that they feel is important. Listening is such an active process. And I know there's been books and articles written on attentive listening or active listening. For me, it's about observing with all of our body. It's not just hearing the words. It's not just about deciphering, well, why did they speak about that first? Why did they repeat that a second time? For me, it's about using my eyes also, because using your eyes is also part of listening. Looking at how they emphasize, look at how they use gestures and so forth. All part of listening, all part of active listening. Returning signals to that person by nodding in agreement, or just nodding that I'm receiving the information, canting my head to let them know that I'm receptive, showing surprise at something that they said. Active, positive listening, attentive listening is interactive. You're not a microphone that just sits there listening to the recorded voice. It is an interactive process, and that part of your responsibility is not just to hear the words, but hear the words that are used and look at the body language that accompanies that, but also to, in kind, return the message that you are listening and that you are attentive. So it's a two-way process. And a lot of people nowadays feel like they have no responsibility to actively even pay attention. And that takes away from great interactions and great associations. So keep that in mind. I've said this many times, and that is that we respect people. We enjoy people whose gestures are smooth, broad, and welcoming. When we use gestures that are very distracting, they take away from the message. So keep that in mind. Never forget that we are always transmitting information. Even when we're sitting still, we're transmitting information. So I know I get a lot of emails from you and says, well, sometimes your hands are jittery. This is something that I work on. But just be aware that when our gestures are smooth, they're better received than when they're jittery and so forth. Lately, I've been talking more and more about having a calm voice. This is a powerful tool. And I learned this early on in 1984, working with a clinician at the Roosevelt Roads Naval Hospital. And one of the things that he taught me was how a calm voice can help to settle down, not just the theater of the emergency, but to also calm down family members, and that we gravitate towards people who have that calm voice. And I have to tell you that voice, which I have used many times in emergencies and just getting people to settle down without ever having to say, please settle down, which I find sometimes just aggravates things, is one of many voices that we should have. And I've talked about this before. I'll probably do a video on it. And that is that we have an everyday voice. We have the voice of alarm when, oh my gosh, the stove's on fire, or voices that acclaim things, or when we're upset. But we also need to have that calm voice and also have that voice that influences others. And those are different things that we can work on, keeping in mind that voice, how we use our voice, is a nonverbal that has powerful consequences, especially when people are stressed or people are looking for someone to take the lead and be in charge. Positive energy, whatever you want to call it. Each generation calls it something different. This person has a great vibe, positive energy. It is unmistakable. It's interesting. Our pets sense our energy. They really do. Those of you who are pet owners know this. But having a positive energy about you, thinking positively, being optimistic, it's all in that same arena, has a positive effect, not only on yourself, but it has a positive effect on others. They want to be around you. They want to associate with you. They want to invite you to things. And that positive energy has to come from within, from you. To think that you have no effect on others is sheer rubbish. We all have a nonverbal effect on others. And if our energy is negative all the time, don't be surprised if people don't want to associate with you. Limit the amount of time they spend with you, and you don't get invited to events. Positive energy is something that can really change how you are perceived, and it can change the outcome of what your life will be. Because I hear it all the time. Oh, thanks for that recommendation. She is just wonderful. The energy that she brings to every meeting and to every event is just something we really enjoy. That is something that we can master, but we have to realize that this comes from within. It comes from with us. People who are respectful of space are always appreciated. No one likes space invaders. They stand too close. We can smell their breath. Maybe they touch too much. But certainly we've all felt that when somebody just stands too close and does not get it, that we would prefer to be further away. So be aware that our spatial needs need to be respected. And when they're not, it creates psychological discomfort. So we have to be aware of our own, but also aware of the spatial needs of others. Empathy is always huge. I've looked at historical records where first contacts were made between, let's say, Western Europeans and the people of the Pacific Islands or in other locations. And yes, there's often a history of violence, but where there was a demonstration of empathy, where someone was injured and was giving food or shelter and so forth, is universally recognized. And I think it's a big part of just being human and humane, that we be empathetic to the conditions that another person may be going through. We never know. Is somebody going through a divorce? Maybe they have an elderly member of the family that is near the end of life and so forth. I think empathy is one of those things that transmits powerfully that we are trustworthy, that we are kind, and that we care about other people. And so whether it's somebody in the family that is sick, or they're going through some mental distress, you never know. But the fact that you show empathy The fact that you recognize that there's some issue and you make an effort to deal with that is a powerful, powerful transmitter that will garner you a lot of friendships and a lot of positive social interactions, both in the present and in the future. I'm always amazed at how little acts done on one day are talked about or appreciated even years later. So keep that in mind. I mean, it goes without saying, how about just some good manners? A well-mannered person is always appreciated. Invariably, when I bring this up at conferences and I say, how many of you have been with someone who was just so well mannered that they influenced you? And, people raise their hand. And then I say, well, how about the opposite of that? How many of you have been in the presence of somebody that was so ill mannered that you just wanted to get away? And then, the stories come out about some of the things that they've done. Manners matter, and manners are influenced by culture. So if you're traveling abroad, if you are even within the United States, you'll run into different people and different cultures, but always remember to be well-mannered and be that person that is appreciated for being respectful. And if you don't know how to do something when it comes to manners, just ask. Confidence, this is such a topic nowadays, but I think it's worthwhile revisiting that confidence is observable. Confidence is something that we demonstrate. And, I've talked about how we can develop confidence by becoming experts in what we're going to be talking about or dealing with, and repeating and practicing all the things that are associated with confidence, to the point where I have practiced walking on a stage. I have practiced how I will address an audience. I will rehearse openly what I will say so that I can actually hear my voice. There's all sorts of things that we can do to develop confidence. What you have to remember is that confidence is really attractive. It will pull people towards you. It is something that inherently, biologically, it's in our DNA, we find very attractive. Right in line with confidence is the concept of just being competent. Over the years, I've had a lot of employees and I've dealt with a lot of people. And it's so nice when you hand someone something and you can see their competence. I know a person who, when working with a camera, they're highly competent. They know how to hold the camera. They know immediately to go to the aperture or do this or the speed setting. Their competence is really very visual. Or you say, hey, can you prepare a slide presentation on this? And boom, they've got their PowerPoint up and they're copying and pasting, all sorts of things. And they're showing their competence with a speed and a fluidity that makes you feel like, oh yeah, we hired the right person. I really feel like they can do whatever I ask of them. So competence, right, is something that is demonstrable, which once again puts the burden on you. Is do you look like you're fidgeting around, not sure of yourself, or do you just say, hey, I got this, and off you go? So competence is very observable and very powerful because it allows other people to relax and have trust in you. Never forget kindness, whether it's opening a door for somebody or helping them with a package. Kindness universally is appreciated. I've traveled around the world and doing something so simple as offering to hold a baby for a mother dealing with another baby while getting on a bus or a tram. Kindness is very rewarding. It can be something very simple and very minor. Our brains are equipped to register kindness, and often it's paid back multifold. So never forget that kindness is a powerful communicator that engages others and is rewarded amply. Most of us would say, well, I'm not really funny. But at the same time, the question is, are you humorous? And as it turns out, humor. That doesn't mean you have to be a good joke teller. I'm not very good at telling jokes, but I can be at times humorous. That humor is also very attractive. It's highly appreciated. And humor can be just somebody tells a joke and you laugh at it. And I have to tell you, I've been in countries where the joke was told in German or Slovak or Arabic, and I sort of understood the joke, but when everybody laughed, I laughed. That's the power of humor, is that we don't always have to be the person that's telling the joke. Often it's how we respond to it. So being humorous is also a very attractive tool. Here's one for you, and I ask this to young people I'm hiring, is, are you interesting? Are you, in fact, interesting? Do you have something to offer? Have you traveled somewhere? Have you experienced something? Do you know how to tell a story? It doesn't matter where you come from. I was at a dinner the other night, and a young waiter was fascinating. He's still very young, but some of the stories he was telling about school and travel and other things, and being interesting, being a person that is interesting to be around, is also very powerful. So I tell young people, don't be just a single slice of that onion. Make sure that as we peel away, that there are some interesting facts that about you or yourself or your background or what you've done, and make it interesting. So here we are, 20 things that I put together from listening to experts around the world, which really resonate with a lot of people in a variety of cultures. And some of these things we should continue to work on. Some of these things we need to further develop. Some of these things we need to refine. But it's something that when we are introspective, we can ask ourselves, are we as kind as we should be? Are we as good a listener as we should be? Are we as confident as we could be? And I always ask myself, where are my weaknesses, so that then I can work on them. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please share these videos with others that might benefit from it. I would love for you to subscribe and write me. I try to answer every message that is posted, and I hope you'll come back for the next video on my take on people watching. Thank you.